Welcome you all for this video lecture on dynamic diagrams and UML modeling. This dynamic diagrams we are going to see interaction diagram in detail. So let us see what is the difference between static and dynamic diagram. The static diagram emphasizes the static structure of the system using objects, attributes, operations and relationships. It includes class diagrams and composite structure diagrams. Already we have seen use case diagrams. No, this use case diagrams also belongs to static diagram category. Whereas the dynamic diagram emphasizes the dynamic behavior of the system by showing collaborations among objects and changes to the internal state of the objects. This view includes sequence diagrams, activity diagrams and state machine diagrams. All these diagrams belongs to the group dynamic diagram. What is interaction diagram? This interaction diagram illustrates how objects interact via messages. There are two common types of interaction diagram. The first one is sequence diagram, which is otherwise called as event diagram. The next one is communication diagram, which is otherwise called as collaboration diagram. So what is sequence diagram? The UML diagram, which shows an interaction between objects arranged in a time sequence, is called as sequence diagram. You please note the keyword time sequence. So here the messages will follow a time sequence. It typically represents how objects interact for one use case. Here only one use case will be taken. For that one particular use case, a sequence diagram will be drawn with number of communication messages. Objects of the classes communicate by sending and receiving messages, obviously. The two major components of the sequence diagram are active objects and communication between these active objects, which are nothing but the messages. So the message and the active objects are the major component of the sequence diagram. So let us see what is all active object and what is this communication, how communication happens in detail. So what is an active object? Any object that play a role in the system is called as an object. This participate by sending and receiving messages. Right. This active object is placed across the top of the diagram. It can be an actor. This actor can be chosen from the use case diagram or the object or class which is taken from the class diagram within the system. So to summarize, objects are nothing but maybe an actor or an object taken from the class or from use case. So what is an object? In general, this object can be any object or a class that is valid within the system, which have seen already. But here in this slide, we are representing, we are showing what is the naming syntax to be used to represent object in the modeling diagram. So here the syntax is given. No, see here instance name colon class name. This is the syntax has to be followed to represent object in the sequence diagram. Suppose if the class name alone is present, it has to be given like this, colon followed by class name. Suppose if the class name is not present, only instance name we have means, then we have to specify only instance name, otherwise called as object name. Suppose if both the entities present, you have to follow the syntax like object colon class. Let us see what is the communication between active object. It is nothing but the message sent between active objects is called as communication, right? The message is used to illustrate the communication between different active objects of a sequence diagram. This is used when an object needs to activate the process of a different object or to give information to another object. The communication takes place or the message passing takes place. Now we are going to see the different notations used in drawing sequence diagram in detail. Let us see all the notations one by one. Right, let us start with dimension. So what is dimension? We know that a sequence diagram drawn in 2D. So 2D means what is represented in y-axis and what represents x-axis has to be mentioned. In sequence diagram, the horizontal line represents objects or elements which appear from left to right according to when they take part in message sequence. Right. So it means that the object in the sequence diagram will appear based on when it happens in the message sequence. Right. So the vertical line represents the time starts at the top of the sequence diagram and the descent towards downwards. Right, the vertical line represents time sequence, whereas the horizontal line represents the object bar elements, right? The sequence diagram about ordering but not considers duration of the event, right? So here ordering is important but duration is not considered. The second notation we use in active diagram is actor. Already we know what is an actor. We see in a use case diagram itself. Here also the same meaning. Anyone how used to perform a certain function in the system or what is going to use our system is called as actors. The actors may be like customer, staff, student, admin, bank, etc. These are all called actor. Actor is represented using a stickman as a use case diagram. So this is the notation used in sequence diagram to represent actor. A lifeline represents an individual participant in the interaction. It is represented using a rectangle box forming the head followed by a dashed line. In the rectangle box, we represents the object name, right? So hence we use the same naming convention used in object name like instance name colon class name. The most important point is no two lifelines should overlap each other. So this is the notation we use to represent a lifeline. Here in the left hand side, lifeline with actor symbol, whereas the right hand side, lifeline with object. So what is an activation? A thin rectangle box on a lifeline represents the time needed for an object to complete a task. Activation means that how long the particular object is being active, is being functioning. That is represented using the rectangle box over the lifeline. This is called as activation. The next component is message. A message defines a particular communication between lifelines of an interaction, which means showing how the objects interact with each other by sending and receiving messages. There are different kinds of messages represented in the sequence diagram. We are going to see all the different kinds of messages one by one in the forthcoming slides. Let us see what are those different kinds of messages. Let us start with synchronous message, right? The synchronous, from the name itself, we understood that the communication is synchronous. It means that suppose if the sender is sending some message, the sender will be waiting or will resume its operation only if it receives acknowledgement or response from the receiver side. Till then, the sender will be in waiting state. This is what the meaning for synchronous communication. Here also the same thing holds, right? It is represented by a solid line with a solid arrowhead, right? This symbol is used when a sender must wait for a response to a message before it continues. Yes, the sender will wait for the response from the receiver before it continues its operation. Here you please note one point. The reply message will be shown using dotted line, whereas the sending message will be shown using the solid line, right? The next type of message is asynchronous message. Here in asynchronous message, the sender will not wait for the response from the receiver. Before receiving response from the receiver, the sender will continue its operation. That is what synchronous message represents. The next message type is return message. Return message is nothing but the reply from the receiver message, which is represented using the dotted line. The fourth category of message is create message. To represent the new object is created in the process of the execution, create a message is used. For example, when you are executing particular object, that particular object will create new object. That time you have to include that communication. You have to represent that communication using a create message instead of just by simple send message, right? What is reflexive message? Object send message to itself is called as reflective message. It's going to send message to itself means it is reflexive one, which is represented using a loop line structure like this. So that's all about the different varieties of messages. Now let us see what is object distraction. Obviously, distraction means destroying. This destroying of particular object is represented using a cross symbol, right? comment. We can include comment in the sequence diagram using a rectangular box. A comment or note can be used to reflect the various remarks to the elements. Next, focus of control, otherwise called as activation box, which is otherwise called as execution occurrence. This already we seen, hope you remember, a thin rectangular box drawn on the lifeline is called as activation box. This is also called as focus of control. It means the object is active and using resources during the time period. It denotes when an object is sending or receiving messages. Yes, represented by a thin long rectangular box overlaid onto the lifeline. If you see the diagram, you can understand what is the activation or focus of control. This represents a start of occurrence, and the rectangular box represents during that time period that particular object is active, and the reply says that it is the finish of the occurrence. Then to represent stereotype objects, we use control objects, right? Control objects, boundary objects, option objects, or of type stereotype object. So a control is a stereotyped object that models a controlling entity or manager. This object controls some other object, means it is called as control object. For example, in a bank account object, this bank account object itself is a control object because it changes the database with its deposit and withdraw methods, right? By executing this deposit and withdraw operations, the bank account will get changed, right? Since it controls those accounts, it is called as control object. The control object will be represented using this symbol. What is boundary object? So this boundary object will act as an interface with the system actors. So normally this boundary objects will be represented using UI at the end, where UI stands for user interface, right? So the symbol used to represent boundary object is given here. You please make a note of it. Example for boundary object is user interface, database gateway, server proxy. All those components or entities will be represented using a boundary object in sequence. The next component is guards. To represent if conditions in sequence diagram, we use guards. These guards are placed above the message line, being guarded in front of the message name as shown in the symbol, right? So here, if the balance is greater than 0, then only withdraw is possible. This communication is shown with guard component, right? Here balance greater than 0 is if condition, that is called as guard. So the next component is alternatives. These alternatives are used to designate a mutually exclusive choice between two or more message sequences. It allows modeling of if then else logic. For example, consider a switch case statement in programming language. Right, we used to switch across multiple different executions based on what is the value of condition variable. Similarly, here in sequence diagram, the alternatives used to represent those situations, right? So hence this alternatives are used to represent if then else logic. The word alt is placed inside the frame box. Look at the symbol, right? The set of messages to be executed under that particular condition will be enclosed in a frame, and that frame will be given a name called ALT, which is given in the left corner of that frame, right? I hope you could see. So this represents this set of messages will be executed alternatively based on the condition. Here the example scenario is given. If I buy 3 items, then I get 20% of my purchase. Yes, I get 10% discount from my purchase. So here if else logic holds. So alternatively we can execute either this message or that message based on the condition. So in such situation we use alternates. Then the next component comes options. This options or combination fragment which is used to model a sequence. Given a certain condition will occur, otherwise the sequence does not occur. The option is used to model a simple if-then statement. If this is true, will happen. Otherwise, nothing. So, simple if statement will be represented using option. So, the next comes parallels. So, what is parallel? If the condition is true, each fragment or message will be executed. If particular condition is true, it activates two or more objects. So, in such situation, we use parallels, right? So, here also we use the same rectangular box which is called as frame. The left hand side of the frame will be represented using PAR, which represents this is parallel. So, the messages which appear in this frame will be executed parallelly, right? If this condition is true, this initializer executes some operation on processor 1 and also processor 2. So, parallelly this execute message will happen in more than one object. This is called parallel. Then what is loop, which supposed to represent a loop statement in a sequence diagram? We use this symbol. Here also we use a frame. The left hand side, left corner of the frame will be given name L loop, right? So this represents, this frame is representing looping structure, right? So we give looping condition, right? So if order greater than 0, this set of statements will be executed, right? So how long this set of statements will be executed? That will be represented in the frame itself. If you look at the syntax, you can see maxint is equal to 10. It means that this set of operations will be executed for a maximum of 10 times, right? So in each looping statement, what is the condition to be checked will be given using ALT. Alternatively, based on the condition we specify, either message will be repeated for maximum n times. That is what the fragment represents here. Hope you understand what is loop control. With this, we are completing all the notations we use to draw a sequence diagram. In our next lecture, we will see what are the steps to be followed to draw a sequence diagram. With that, we will be completing sequence diagram. Thank you all for your patience, students.